Good morning, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us again at our sixth private school fair hosted by InAmerica Education. Today is our fifth day of the event. So I can go quickly about our agenda today. But before I start, I wanted to kind of like also say hi and introduce the agenda in Chinese with some of our audience who might be easier for them to understand everything. 早上好，晚上好非常感谢大家继续参与到我们第六届InAmerica 组织的这个第六届私校展哈。那么今天的这个校展呢，是我们第5天的活动然后呢我想跟大家稍微分享一下我们今天的一个活动的一个安排。So yeah, so for today's schedule, we will have Suffield Academy, a top boarding school in Connecticut, gonna start at 9 a.m. But there's some unexpected urgency happening. So we will have our guest speaker to be with us shortly. At 9:50, we will have another top boarding school, the web schools from California, join us. After that, at 10:35, we will have our InAmerica webinar, which will be focused on how to make your interview and essay stand out. So that's is our schedule for today. So 那么今天呢，我们的活动的流程是这样子的哈，我们9点的时候呢，是会由来自康州的Suffield Academy 也是一所顶尖的寄宿学校来跟大家做分享因为学校这边呢，学校老师这边早上可能有一些紧急的情况所以可能要开始的稍微晚一些，所以我们也在等待老师马上上线哈。那么在9:50的时候呢，我们会有另外一所顶尖的来自加州的寄宿学校 Web School 韦伯学校韦伯中学来跟大家做分享。那么然后呢，在10:35的这个时间呢，我们会有我们InAmerica 团队顾问老师做的分享的一个讲座呢，这个讲座呢主要会关注于如何去让你的这个面试和文书做得非常非常的出彩所以呢，这个呢是我们整个的一个行程的安排。那么我们现在还在等学校的老师加入到这个我们的这个讲座当中哈，所以可以稍微给几分钟但是呢，我也可以稍微的分享一下哈。那么咱们就是说在今天截止到今天呢，我们其实大概是有10所的学校来进入到我们这个。参加到我们的这个活动哈，那么也是分享了非常多学校的一个信息，那么我们的团队呢也是非常希望通过这样的一个信息呢，能够给大家提供更多的就是对美国学校的一个了解，为接下来的申请季呢做好进一步的一个准备啊。那么我看到学校的校方已经过来了哈，我们马上就开始。Hi, good morning, Stanley. 我们今天so I just wanted to kind of mention a little bit today for our the sharing from Suffield Academy. We're gonna have Mr. Stanley Dunbar. He is the Assistant Director of Admission at Suffield Academy to share more about what makes Suffield a unique school and also some updates about the admission this year. So we will have him started whenever he's ready. 那么今天呢，给我们来自Suffield Academy 来讲座的老师呢 ，Hi Stanley, good morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay this morning. It's been a pretty
Don't
busy
worry. I know, definitely. So yeah, I don't know if you're going to share your
Yes.
slides. You can
Yep, I
feel
can
free
share my
to do that.
screen if that's possible.
Sure, wonderful. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. How does
Before we start, I just want you to know, Stanley, our event is streaming, in different, social media. So you wouldn't be able to see many participants in Zoom, but a lot of audience gonna, are gonna be able to watch this, on WeChat, other social media. Just wanted you to know.
Okay, perfect. Well,
Okay,
hi everyone,
wonderful.
how's it going? My name is Stanley Dunbar. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions here at Suffield Academy. I'm actually entering my second year here at the Academy. We are a boarding school. We are located in Suffield, Connecticut, which is about 20 minutes outside of Hartford, Connecticut, and about 15 minutes from Springfield, Massachusetts. We're actually located about 10 to 15 minutes away from an international airport, Hartford Bradley International Airport, which is pretty convenient. I know we have a lot of families that come to us from different countries, and having an international airport close by is definitely beneficial. But let me tell you a little bit about Suffield Academy. We
Mhm.
kind of pride ourselves on being a community committed to excellence in academics, athletics, as well as the arts. As I mentioned, we are a boarding school located in Suffield, Connecticut. We have a population of about 415 students right now. 266 of our students are boarding students, and we also have local day students. Our ratio right now is about 70% boarding and 30% day. From a gender standpoint, we are 55% male and 45% female. We offer grades 9 through 12. 17% of our student population is international students, and that covers 28 different countries. Our as far as from a domestic standpoint in the United States, 29% of our students are minorities, and we have a 5-to-1 student ratio. I think something that's really cool about Suffield Academy is the average classroom size is 10 to 12 students. So our students really get that individualized attention from their teachers. And we
Mhm.
also have something called a Harnick style learning, where in our classrooms, if you guys were to visit campus, you would see that a lot of our tables are like shaped in an oval or like a circle. And
Yeah.
everyone's really looking at one another, everyone's interacting with one another, and it's a very interactive learning style. It's a very our students have access to our teachers and they're involved in the classroom discussions. So I think it's a really great way to learn. We are a private coeducational independent school on non-denominational. It was founded in 1833, so it's been around for a really long time. And we receive about 1,000 applications per year. So there are a lot of students that are looking to come to Suffield Academy. So it's very competitive, to get accepted.
Mhm.
As I mentioned, we pride ourselves on academic excellence. We have over 120 courses, including honors, AP, advanced placement, and as well as electives. I mentioned we have small class sizes for individualized attention. We are really trying to put a strong emphasis on STEM classes, so math and science is something that we take very serious. And if you guys were to have an opportunity to visit campus, we have beautiful facilities, classroom facilities. We have a pretty brand new science building here. In all of our science classrooms, we have desk seating, and each science class also has a lab in the back of the class so students can do hands-on experiments in the back of their classrooms. We also have humanities, arts, and global studies. As from an academic standpoint, we consider honor roll students those students that have a GPA of a 3.33 or higher and no grades below a C plus. High honor roll students have a GPA of a 3.80 or higher with no grades below a B. We also give out different academic prizes to our students who are excelling in the classroom. We have book awards, we have academic prizes, and students who achieve extraordinary academic success are recognized at Underclass Prize Day, which was actually last week, where we gave out our academic award for our underclassmen students. Cum laude students are those who are top 10 percentile in their class to maintain a high honor roll for 5 consecutive terms are eligible for National Honor Society.
Mhm.
We also have a very strong and rich athletic um, history here and a very strong athletic programs. We have varsity sports, we have junior varsity sports, and we also have other levels. So at our school, we do not have physical education. So all students are required to partake in some type of after school activity. We do have some exceptions, but for the most part, each student that attends Suffield Academy plays some sport in some season. Our fall sports are cross country, football, soccer, which in other countries would be considered football, but in the US we consider it soccer. Field hockey, that's only a female sport here at Suffield Academy, so there's no boys field hockey. Volleyball is also only a um, a female sport here at Suffield Academy, and we also have men's water polo for the fall. In the winter, we have basketball, we have skiing, we have squash, we have swimming and diving, wrestling, riflery. Our spring sports are women's water polo. We have crew, lacrosse for boys and girls. We have baseball, softball, tennis, golf, and track and field. Um, our athletic facilities include Tisch Fieldhouse, which was built in 2009. It is a 30,000 square foot facility with multi-purpose courts and an athletic training room and a conference room. We have AP Servants Athletic Center, includes Perry Gymnasium, a swimming pool, a fitness center, squash courts, and a rowing center, which is pretty neat. Not a lot of schools have a rowing center. We have a state-of-the-art rowing center. And we're also building a brand new tennis complex. So we already have a pretty nice tennis complex, but we're building a brand new tennis complex that will be completed in 2025, I believe, in the spring, which is kind of under construction right now, which will have bathrooms, seating to watch our tennis games. So definitely a lot going on from an athletic standpoint at Suffield Academy. We have two turf fields. We have Holmes Field with this, which is a synthetic soccer and football field with LED lights. Our lacrosse team also plays on it, and we have another turf field that our soccer and field hockey teams compete on as well. As you can see, the picture to the right, that's our brand new varsity athletic strength and conditioning room. So all of our varsity athletes have a state-of-the-art facility to train and to strive to get better in their respective sports. We have a strength and conditioning coordinator that works full time for our school, that works with all of our varsity athletes to help them train and to reach their full potential as athletes. We're also very strong in the arts. We have visual arts, we have music, we have theater and dance, we have rock band as well as jazz band, theater productions team. So you don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera. All of our theaters are ran by our students. So even behind the scenes, as far as like staging, lighting, all of that stuff is ran by our students behind the scenes. So there's also roles to be behind the camera a little bit and kind of help out with the productions. We have photography also, so students that are interested in taking pictures, whether it be sports or it be just nature or different type of photography that they might be interested in, we also offer our students the opportunity to do that as well. We have strong support for student and creativity and our artistic expression. So we have a director of performing arts, and we have two other assistant directors that one works mostly with music, and the other one works mostly with our instrumentals and our jazz band and our rock band and things of that nature. I see some questions in the chat. Okay.
I think that's kind of our announcement. But we will
Okay.
have some question coming in the end of the presentation. Yeah,
Oh, perfect. Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
Thank you.
No problem. Something that's really unique about Suffield Academy is we put a very strong emphasis on developing leadership. And one of our signature programs here at Suffield Academy that I'm not sure every school has, but we have a leadership program, which is a 4-year leadership program. And I'll just read a little bit about that. Many schools discuss the importance of leadership training, but at Suffield Academy, we have fully established programs for all students to develop leadership skills. In 2002, Suffield embarked on an ambitious project to bring formal leadership studies to the academic program. The aim of the leadership program is to develop human beings with integrity who wish to make a significant and positive impact on society. Leadership comes in various forms. It is a tool we use in our daily lives to emerge in many different scenarios, whether it is in whether it is in making an important decision or going through our daily routines. We have to learn when we take initiative to apply ourselves and direct others. Our graduates will have the capacity to define and achieve meaningful goals and dreams. We will teach ways of thinking and develop skills, traits, habits in order to enhance each student's leadership qualities and capabilities. Core elements of our program include life skills, moral foundation, goal setting, communication skills, successful problem solving, self-awareness, and inspiring others. So, what something that's pretty cool is every year that a student is here from ninth grade all the way up until graduation, they will be in a leadership class. So that leadership class, as I mentioned, will be teaching different life skills and developing leadership qualities. So when students graduate from Suffield Academy, they can go out into the world and not just be kind of go with the flow, but really to be leaders in whatever space they're in. That's something that we really want our graduates to have as they go out into the world and to really go out and to try to make a difference. And I think our leadership program does a great job of developing leaders. Something that's pretty cool also is each senior before they graduate, they have to give a senior speech, which is a part of our leadership program. So every Monday, we have chapel here. There's no religious affiliation with our chapel, but really it's just a time for our entire school community to come together and to talk about different issues that are going on and to also hear our senior speeches. So each senior gives a speech throughout the school year on something that they would like to talk about. Some students talk more about, personal beliefs or their family or something that they may be interested in, but it's a time for our students to really just get in front of the entire school community and to have to give a speech on something that they're passionate about, which I think is, public speaking is one of the biggest fears that people have. So to have that experience to do so in high school and to have to prepare for a speech, I think that's a life skill that, not a lot of kids graduating from high school have. So that's something that's pretty cool is our leadership program. That's the end of my slideshow, but I just wanted to also mention about our admissions process. So in our admissions process, the first step really is to fill out our inquiry form. You can find our inquiry form on suffieldacademy.org. And on that inquiry form, you will be telling us information about yourself. So what grade you're in, things of that nature, where you're from, also what grade you're applying to, and then you can also set up an interview. So we have two forms of interview. We understand that students are coming from all over the world. Everyone isn't able to make it on campus. So we also offer Zoom interviews. So you can schedule that. As I mentioned on SuffieldAcademy.org, you can schedule a Zoom interview. And if you are able to get on campus, we also have in-person interviews. So once you do that and you tour an interview on campus, or if you do so virtually, the next step would be completing that application. Something that we have here that I don't know if every school has, but we have early decision. So if you think Suffield is your number one choice and you're really passionate about the school and this is the place you want to be, you can apply early decision, and that application is due on December 9th. And you will hear back probably within 2 weeks on whether or not you're accepted. So you'll hear back before like December 25th. You should hear back on whether or not you were accepted or not. Once you are accepted, if you are accepted, 30% of the tuition is due. So you have to make a down payment of 30% about 2 weeks after you receive the decision that you're accepted. And then we have our normal application is due January 15th. And then the decision date for that is March 10th. And if you are accepted into our school, we have a revisit day. So students who may have not been able to get on campus, they can visit campus in April.
Mhm.
when we have our revisit days, and they can kind of tour a classroom and get a firsthand experience of what Suffield Academy is all about. We do have an acceptance rate of about 20%, so it is very competitive. For our
Mhm.
international students, we do require um, that they submit a Duolingo or a TOEFL. So for our international students, that is something that we require. We are test optional, so you do
Mhm.
not have to submit a SSAT, but if you do really well on the test and you want to add that to your application, it can strengthen your application. So if that's something that you do really well on, feel free to submit that.
Oh, thank you, Stanley. That's
Yeah.
a very thorough, introduction. I think it covers everything. So I know, like, I think we're gonna have some question because, like I said, we have other, audience are watching this through different
Mhm.
platform. My colleague might send some question to the WeChat, but to the chat room. But
Yeah.
I do have a few questions while you are mentioning, the information, all the information, regarding the application process and all the
So,
wonderful program offered at Suffield. So I think since we just mentioned, like admission, I'm
mhm,
curious for the early this season,
mhm.
statistic wise, is that like definitely higher the acceptance
Definitely.
rate higher than the regular?
I would say so. It is a
Okay,
little bit higher for
okay,
students that choose to go early decision because we just know from a remission standpoint that those students want to come to Suffield.
yeah,
So the
that's
acceptance rate is higher for those early decision students just because we know that we're their number one choice
okay.
when they choose to go early decision.
Yeah, sure. That's wonderful. And also it's wonderful to know your school is still test, optional. I think
Mhm.
that for a lot of students actually great, like information.
Uh,
Yeah, let's focus on the admission a little bit more.
mhm.
So you mentioned that every year Suffield, have probably has probably over 1,000 application,
Mhm.
coming to your way. I wonder, so what kind of student, Suffield is looking, or what part of the application which
Mhm.
might, kind of weigh more in the
Yeah.
process, in your opinion? Yeah.
I think what we look for at Suffield Academy is we look for well-rounded students. So
Mm-hmm.
we look for students that are, obviously we're a very rigorous academic institution. So
Mm.
from an academic
Yeah.
standpoint, your academics is probably going to hold the highest weight, and what you've
Mm.
done from an academic standpoint as far as your grades and things of that
Yeah.
nature, your teacher recommendations and things of that
Mm.
nature. But then other than the academic side, we also look for students that have some type of interest outside of academics. So it could be
Mm.
in the arts. We take our performing arts and our visual arts very seriously, as well as our athletics. So those are all things that help a student that is, first and foremost strong academically, but then they
Yeah.
have, some other passions that they're passionate about. And then really just, I think our community is a very nurturing, warm community. So we look for good people, kids that will be
Yeah.
friendly, kids that are nice, respectful to others. Those are all
Yeah.
things that are valued as we read an application.
Yeah, sure. That's great. Then at least to the next question I have, you mentioned about your the mission is to have students to excel in academic, athletic, and arts. When we
Mhm.
talk with a student, I do know some students, for example, due to special condition, like if they study in public school in different country and they don't have the resources to really explore a lot in terms of
Mhm.
extracurricular. I don't know if that would put the student in a less favorable position when
Yeah.
he or he or she is entering this competition.
Yeah. I think, if a student is coming from a situation where they wasn't privy to have opportunities to do some extracurricular activities, I think it's important to make that known to us throughout the process and also just, a lot of students may have not had experience doing something, but they may be interested in trying it. So,
Yeah.
just conveying to us that, hey, I may not have had the opportunity to do a lot of these different things, but if I was accepted into your school, I'm open to trying new things. I think that's something, not being the biggest school, we don't have a ton of students. So like student involvement, whether it's sports or whether it's arts or just in our different clubs that we have, student involvement is important in a smaller school. So having students that are interested in trying new things and that are open-minded to different things that they may not have experience doing, I think that's important. So just conveying that, that that they're open to it, I think is important throughout the process.
Yeah, that's right. That definitely, important, right? You have to be curious, open-minded, and try to take advantage of, all the great resources, offered on campus. Yeah, sure. So, I just, I really like how, kind of like extensive the sports program in Suffield,
Mhm.
and also, great facility. So you mentioned there's no PE, so which means the student needed to participate in the sports, right? Is that
Yeah.
required? Okay.
So
Um,
we Sorry. So we do actually have some exceptions to it. So
okay.
students can choose to do for, I believe, for one season, they can choose to do an art special. So
Okay.
for instance, if a student is more interested in the arts, they can choose to do an art special and focus on it could be theater, it could be an instrument, it can be visual arts. They can choose to do
Okay.
that as an extracurricular activity after school. And also all of our sports teams aren't competitive sports. So
Mm,
we have varsity sports, which is competitive, junior
okay.
varsity, but we also have lower levels, which is more
Mm,
recreational and just for fun.
mm,
So it's not
okay.
all, students don't necessarily have to be the best athletes or to have experience in these
Okay.
different sports. So it's not all,
Oh,
competitive sports. Yeah.
yeah, so thank you for explaining that to me because I know some students, have this worry that, oh, I'm starting a high school, but I'm not really, kind of confident by my athletic skill and my
Yeah.
participation in the past. Should I try it? And if I, and I also know like a lot, some school, they have a very strong, like a sports team
Yeah.
if a student wants to try, it's hard. There's a cutoff, like a screening process and everything. So student might have that kind of a worry to see like
Mhm.
how much I can participate.
Definitely, definitely. And I think having the different levels. So for instance, we have four levels of soccer at our school. So we have varsity, junior varsity, we have thirds and fourths. So thirds and
Mhm.
fourths, they don't play games. They just, play for fun. So after school, there's a coach, they're playing for fun, they're just having fun. It's also kids that don't have a lot of experience playing. So you don't have to have a very strong athletic background to partake, or there's not going to be any cuts made at that third or
Oh,
fourth level. So everyone
okay.
kind of makes the team at that point.
Okay. Wonderful. That's great. So do you also coach on campus? I'm
I do.
wondering.
I coach
Oh,
football, and last year
okay.
I coached track and field.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, opinion, what is the most popular, most competitive sports, sports team, at Suffield Academy?
I'm probably a little biased because I'm a football coach, so I'm gonna say
Okay.
football. But I think we all of our sports are super competitive.
Uh-huh.
Football team has a very strong history as well as our soccer programs.
Yeah.
Basketball, swimming program, swimming and diving
Mhm.
has a very rich history. I think overall, our athletics programs are very strong and we have a strong history of excelling in athletics here at Suffield Academy.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I know we do work with some student who is really passionate and had very long experience with, certain sports. I think that's good, to know that, they're gonna have a chance to participate. You also mentioned about your signature program, like leadership. I think that's super important. I think definitely it's beneficial in long term but I
Absolutely.
wonder, like, if some students is a little bit shy, introverted. So I know, like, this leadership program, it seems like it's gonna kind of like embedded in, students' daily life for probably 4 years.
Mhm.
I know you joined kind of a Suffield a little bit new, but I don't know, based on your observation, how students really benefit from that, especially those students, maybe they are a little bit shy,
Mhm.
introverted in the beginning. I don't know
Yeah.
if you closely work with some student.
For sure. I think one thing that our school does a really great job of, I think we do a great job of helping our students kind of get out of their shell a little bit.
Hmm.
Just from my time being here, I've seen kids come in that were shy freshmen, and now as sophomores, they seem to be more extroverted. They seem to be more talkative. They kind of find their niche here. So we don't, as a school, we don't necessarily try to um, guide our students in what they should be passionate about. We kind of allow them to discover what they enjoy. That's why we
Mm,
offer so many things. We allow them to kind of find what they're passionate about, find their way. And
mm,
there's always adults and faculty on campus that are supportive of them. So we're a very nurturing environment, and I think
yeah,
students, we empower our students to really find their voice and to find themselves here at Suffield Academy, which I've
yeah,
seen firsthand how that has made a kid who might have came in a little bit quiet and shy kind of really, find themselves and to become a confident
yeah.
second year student.
Yeah, I think that's super important. And like I said, they will definitely use this skill, in college, even in the future, in their career. So besides leadership, program in terms of, other academic or extracurricular, is there other, programs you think it's unique or, your Suffield Academy focus more? Um,
So I think right now there's a strong effort being made on our STEM programs, so our math
okay.
and sciences. I think
Mm,
we have state-of-the-art facilities for our students
yeah.
to continue to really explore and to push themselves from a STEM
Mm,
standpoint. As
yeah.
I mentioned, we all of our science classrooms have labs in the back, so the kids aren't just sitting in desks and listening to
Mm,
the teacher
mm,
or the professor speak. They go and they have hands-on experience with different
mm,
experiments that they may be doing, as well as engineering. I know that's something that we have an elective. We have an engineering
mhm.
elective. And the cool
Yeah.
thing about our school is, as students kind of fulfill those core class requirements, as they get up to like junior and senior year, they can take more elective classes and more things that kind of, what they may be thinking about for college. So, I think that's also unique about our school.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So also I think this question a lot of family also wanted to know is is how your school is utilizing resources outside of the campus. For
Mhm.
example, any visitor coming to share more with the student, or like do students in Suffield have chance to really do other like a field trip, more interactive with the bigger community, whether it's academic or just, more social, kind of like events. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have something here at Suffield Academy called Model UN, which is
Uh-huh.
like similar to debate. A lot of
Mm,
our students get off campus. I believe last year they went to UConn. Our
uh-huh.
freshmen, all of our freshmen last year went to Yale University for college field trip. And
Okay.
also all of our leaders and all of our different grades had a different leadership program field trip. I know the seniors went rafting, the juniors went zip lining, and we also have
Mm,
a solo barn on campus, which is kind of like a leadership development course for our
mm,
students where they get to be active and get to be physical. But there's a bunch of opportunities to get off campus. We have a lot of different clubs and they do different things off campus. So yeah,
mm.
there's plenty of opportunities for our students to get off campus and to really explore and interact with the Suffield community outside of the academy.
Okay, I see. So like, students can take a lot of one advantage of the resources around the campus. I believe,
Absolutely.
it's the same for Suffield, have a lot of, events scheduled for students during the weekend.
Definitely.
I wonder like, in terms of I know we have a few minutes left. I
Mhm.
also wanted to touch on like in terms of the first year, the ninth grade, for all the students, like how how they are supported to transit to boarding life, also
Mhm.
like high school life. Is there
Mhm.
specific programs arrangement going
Yeah.
on?
So all of our students have an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an advisor advisee program here at Suffield Academy. So all of our
Yeah.
freshmen, when they come in, they have an advisor that they meet with. It's kind of like like their parent on campus, or just the person that's
Yeah.
kind of looking out for them a little bit more than just an average student. So they're texting them, they're making sure that, if they have any
Mm.
questions, they can reach out to them. So I think our advisor program does a really good job of just building relationship with new students,
Yeah.
making them feel comfortable, making them feel a part of the community. There's also things that an advisor does off campus. So, for instance, an advisor can take their advisee group off campus and go get food, or if they want to go get
Yes.
dinner one
Mm-hmm.
night, if so there's different, or invite them over to their house to eat dinner with their family. There's a lot of different things that advisors do. So I think our advisor advisee program really does a great job of helping our new students get acclimated to the school.
That's great. So in terms of like how to support the student to maybe manage their schedule time better, I don't know, especially for the freshman year,
Mhm,
is I know some school might have different requirement
mhm.
in terms of study hall and everything.
Oh,
I
got
don't
it. Yep.
know how Suffield
Yeah.
Academy is doing this. Yeah.
So we also have study hall. Our study hall is Monday through Friday, and also on Sunday night is from 8 to 10 p.m. So
Mm,
students can have study hall in their dorm. Their door has to be open if they're having study hall in their dorm. Cell phones also have to be outside of their room. They
mm,
have to be sitting at their desk doing their schoolwork, or they can also choose to go to our library that we have on campus from 8 to 10. So there is that built-in time for students to take advantage of time to get their work done, to study for a test, so to really stay on top of their studies. And I think it kind of helps these students build habits,
mm.
as to knowing what time it is to study, setting time aside to get their work done.
Hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful. They need a structure, Of course, they need to develop their, independence, manage their schedule, but then definitely needed to be structured. About
Absolutely.
yeah, college counselor, how they support this students,
Yep.
how the students are supported regarding their college journey. Yeah.
So we have a 4-year college counseling program here. So from the time students come here as freshmen, they'll have a college counselor. As they get a little bit older, I believe sophomore year, they'll start to meet with that college counselor on a weekly basis, once a week.
Mhm.
And really for the
Yeah.
sophomores, it's in preparation for, some of the academic tests that they'll be taking for college, such as SAT, ACT. They'll start to take practice tests their sophomore
Mm,
year, junior year. They'll be meeting with their their college counselor to set dates to take these SAT, ACT tests, as well as kind of narrowing down what colleges they may be interested in and what they're looking to study. And then the college counselor will help them to reach out and to, kind of support them through that application process as they start to apply to different colleges.
yeah, sure. Okay, I have one last question. I think if you wanted to give any suggestion to the student who's going to apply this year, I don't know if you could give any suggestion, to them, if they're applying this year.
Yep. I would say my suggestion is to be yourself, to be your
Hmm.
best self. I think when we read through applications, we look for students who are themselves and to be unique and to
Mm,
embrace your strengths, work
yeah,
on your weaknesses,
yeah.
really, just that's what I would say. I mean, we read
Mm,
a lot of applications, and the ones that we remember are the kids who are just unique and they're not afraid to be themselves, and
yeah.
they have great recommendations, but just be yourself, be a light wherever you are, and try your best.
Yeah, recommendation is very important.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, wonderful. I think through our questions and your sharing, we definitely have a very comprehensive understanding about the community, the application process and everything. Really appreciate your time. I know it's a very busy season for you. So I think we're gonna wrap up this. With presentation with your school, and we'll keep in touch. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, Stanley. Talk to
All
you
right.
later. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.